Efendim merhabalar, yeniden hoş geldiniz. Sizler salonumuza, sizler de ekranları başına hoş geldiniz. Değerli konuklar, bugün tekrar hashtag'imizi hatırlatmak da istiyorum. Geleceği şekillendir. Sosyal medya paylaşımlarınızı da takip ediyoruz. Buraya dair yapacağınız paylaşımlarda da bu hashtag'i kullanmanızı rica ederiz. www.aitomorrowsummit.com'dan da izleyebiliyorlar. İzlemek isteyenlere, yapay zeka gönül verenleri de sizler de buradan ulaştırabilirsiniz. Programımızı takip edebilirler diyelim. Şimdi oturumlara başlıyoruz. İlk başlığımız Google'lı olacak. Tanıtım filmi ekranlara geliyor efendim.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
What does this remind you of?
Schrodinger's cat.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. When all of these tools come together, it's a powerful combination.
It's amazing.
That's amazing.
It's an entire suite of different kind of possibilities.
Hi, I'm Gemini.
What neighborhood do you think I'm in?
This appears to be the King's Cross area of London.
Together, we're creating a new era.
Aşina olduğumuz bir başlık, çoğumuzun gün içinde sıklıkla kullandığı herkes için yapay zeka oturumumuzun başlığı olacak. Google Güney Avrupa Bölgesi'nden sorumlu Kamu Politikası Kıdemli Direktörü Sayın Georgia Albantino'yu alkışlarınızla sahneye davet ediyorum. Welcome please Mrs. Georgia Albantino to the stage.
His Excellency, Mr. Vice President, Your Excellency, esteemed member of the Turkish government, dear President of IPA Association, dear Zafer Bey, thank you very much, first of all, for the invitation, and thank you very much for organizing such an impactful event where indeed you can talk and progress the thinking and also the actions about AI. I am Giorgia Beltino. I lead and coordinate the artificial intelligence strategy for Google in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and of course in Turkey, and it's a great privilege to be here. It's not only, but also because I love Turkey, and I have extensively traveled around Turkey. These are my pictures I took. And so I, of course, have fond memories of the bustling street of Istanbul, the incredible landscape of Cappadocia. I sailed extensively in Antalya because I'm a passionate sailor, etc., etc. And very recently, I also discovered that we, Italian and Turkish, have several things in common, but one thing in common is the love for ravioli, because you call manti the traditional Turkish ravioli, and of course we also have ravioli tonight. I was told that I'm gonna have it again. But now, jokes aside, the reason why I like so much Turkey is not just the culture that really inspires me and the beauty, but because you have a fit in the future. That's the impression I have every time I come here, and that's what I heard, listen to His Excellency Vice President, that you really have a forward-looking vision when it comes, of course, to AI, but most probably to many other things. And I would say that the keyword that I heard today, there were several keywords, but one keyword is definitely innovation. And so with innovation in mind, and why innovation is important is not innovation for innovation. Innovation is important when it can have an impact on life. I would like to show a very short video that really impacted me, and I hope it will resonate with you.
The day you inform the families that they have a child with cancer is a day that is going to change their lives forever.
The Princess Maxima Center is the only center in the Netherlands that treats kids with cancer. One of the projects that we developed was the International Tumor Board for Leukemia.
A tumor board is the weekly meeting and discuss treatment decisions. An important source of knowledge is the medical journals, but it's impossible to read everything.
So I pitched to Google, and then Google Cloud gave me the permission to work with 7 engineers. Capricorn is an AI tool built with Google Gemini models to screen all the abstracts in PubMed with over 37 million papers.
We use Capricorn using de-identified data of patients as an input.
And then it comes back with a list of possibilities. He said, if you have this mutation, this is the best treatment I could find, and here's the paper. It used to take me around 2 to 3 days to do the same literature review like AI did in 40 seconds. But Capricorn is not making decision for you. But then we have to sit together with all the expertise we have and to decide what is best for the patient. If it helps us, I can only imagine what it can be to other parts of the world that has no access to experts like we do. And Capricorn is only the beginning.
Thanks. So this, I can imagine for all of us is quite touchy, but why? Because it tells you what is again the impact that AI can have on people, you know, on health. And I decided to play this video because the more I work on AI, the more I believe that AI is not just for us. AI is not for the expert. Every citizen, every person should be really involved and understand what AI is for and take advantage of it. It's really something that is more than just a technology for experts, because it can save life, and we've seen it, but it can also, for instance, provide better access for health reasons to little communities or communities that are not in the center, let's say, of the country. Or I was just recently talking with some farmers, and with the prediction that AI can provide them, they can provide the best, let's say, nutrition to their crops. And so for farmers and for agriculture is absolutely game-changing. And indeed is absolutely game-changing in general. But then when I delve into what is happening in Turkey, there were 2 examples that really blew me. And they are both with the Gazi University. So I don't know whether you know, perhaps you do, but the Gazi University has developed actually the possibility to early detection of Parkinson through voice recognition. It means that through voice recognition, they can identify potential Parkinson much before than what it was possible in the past. And similar things are happening with the Turkey brain project, where it's possible again to detect tumors much before than what happened in the past. And this again shows not only how AI can help, but really how the Turkey government institutions, academia are really advancing on that area. And of course, we heard the Vice President talking about mammography, etc., etc. This is an incredible area where AI is really saving life. Another area where AI is saving life is on crisis response. And this was also mentioned. What is crisis response? Flooding, earthquake, fires are really, of course, disastrous events. And in this moment is of absolute importance to provide to people in the area the most updated information about what to do, what is happening, where to move. And Google has worked since long time, really long time. I mean, I've been at Google for 15 years, and I remember since more than 10 years that has been working indeed on wildfire detection and flood forecasting, because with the use of AI and huge amount of data, it's possible, of course, to understand immediately what is happening, but also to forecast what is going to happen potentially in the near future, and so provide, of course, early alerts. We are working extensively again here in Turkey with the national organization, in particular after the terrible, let's say, crisis in February 2023. We are working with the Turkish Red Crescent, and we provided 750K US dollars to really advance the work that can be done indeed on crisis response. So I'm giving you this example, but I want to give you the last one that for me at least is the most incredible, that is about AlphaFold. I don't know whether you ever heard about it. So we, all human beings, we are done of proteins. Proteins are the brick structure of every one of us. And so detecting and understanding the 3D formula, let's say, the 3D structure of a protein is fundamental for everything, for every research, for every scientific research. So until AlphaFold arrived into, let's say, this space, a PhD, a person PhD, was on average putting his entire PhD, 4 to 5 years, to detect one protein and identify the 3D structure of one protein. AlphaFold, that has been developed by Google DeepMind, today can detect the 3D structure of protein in 1 second, and almost all proteins have now been detected. For this, for AlphaFold, its founder at Google DeepMind, Demis Hassabis, just won the Nobel Prize, just to give you a breadth of the impact. And why is this important? Again, it's not because it's cool to know proteins, but because folding and unfolding of proteins, it would give you the cure for diseases. It would tells you whether a medicine will work or will not work. So it's very important. And this is as important, it has been decided that AlphaFold is open. Every scientist on Earth can use it, and today more than 2 million scientists in more than 190 countries are using AlphaFold to advance their researches and hopefully to really make science going at another speed. So I wanted to start with the impact of AI indeed on our life and on science, because I think that is why we are talking so much about AI, not because it's cool. No. We are talking about it because it can change our life. However, AI in science and society is important. It is also important the impact that AI can have on our economy. And of course, global economy is always kind of moving. There's never a dull moment. So it's important to understand what the impact AI have on economy. So now you will tell me, okay, there are 3,500 different reports that tell me different things. So let me show just few data, and I'm taking not the most, let's say, advanced data, but the more conservative one to make sure that we are not overstating. So first of all, at global level, AI contribution to global economy by 2030 will be 15 trillion US dollars. This is huge, it's really huge. This is PwC source, and again, it's kind of a moderate evaluation. But then I want to focus on Turkey more than on the global ecosystem. So last year we asked Implement Research, that is an international firm for research, to run a study that is called the Turkey AI Opportunity, to understand A, what is the impact that AI can have on the economy, and we will see several other things. So first point, generative AI, so only generative AI, not whole AI, only generative AI, contribution to Turkey annual GDP in 10 years will be 5%. It seems to me a quite important number that needs to be read with the other side of the coin, that if you don't do anything, meaning that in case generative AI is not adopted at all by the local economy, then at this point, in 5 years, there will be just 1% growth. What is the message here? That the risk, there are several risks, but the biggest risk is the risk of missing out, not to jump on this train, not to take advantage of this, and not to make this happen. And now you tell me, okay, Georgia, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, numbers, numbers, numbers. Okay, how do we make it happen? Again, we have asked to implement the same research center to then define, okay, if we want to make it happen, what should we do? What are the pillars or the leverages to make it happen? Here we go. 3 areas. The first area is promote AI innovation ecosystem with enabling policies, accelerated AI adoption by all sectors, and finally, prepare people, citizens, everyone, to really take advantage of AI. Let me go into the first point. What does it mean? And here I have a super easy job, because again, His Excellency, the Vice President, told us that the regulatory ecosystem or the regulatory environment needs to be a balanced one. I totally agree with that, and I think this is fundamental. Let's see what it means or what it should mean to have a balanced ecosystem. So if you don't have a regulatory ecosystem that allow innovators to innovate, then innovators will go somewhere else. It's as easy as it is. So what it means, let me give you an example. If you have an application that rates movies, okay? This application presents a level of risk that is different from an application that rates the cures for cancer. The risk that is connected with this, that is inherent in these 2 applications, is different. And therefore, the regulation that apply to different situations should also be different. So the regulation should be indeed applied and proportional to the level of risk that a certain application present. This is the first point. The second point that I think is important is availability of data sets. Again, we heard, and I totally agree, and by the way, I'm Italian, so I'm also coming from a country that is not the biggest and the language is not spoken everywhere. And we heard that we don't want to have an AI that is just American and speaks only English. I agree. But a system is as good, or the result of a system, the output, is as good as what you put inside. So liberating data, making non-sensitive data available for innovators, for people to train the large language model, to train the AI application, is fundamental then to have good output, good results, good products in Turkish, in Italian, and you name it. So I think that the government should really work on making non-sensitive data sets freely available. And then there is the third element that is, of course, investing in research and development. I think is quite obvious, but the other point is really for the government to connect different parts of this ecosystem, the university with the private sector with the startup, in order to create really a working ecosystem. So the second point, the key area, adoption, adoption, adoption. We should wake up thinking about adoption and going to bed thinking about adoption by the business. And again, what do we mean about that? Well, the first point is I think that the government should lead by example and really adopt cloud solutions that can then provide better results and better services to the citizens. So for the government, first of all, to be the first one leaning into this AI era. And again, I was very much struck by the example that were provided on the stage by the minister about indeed how the public administration wants really to use AI to be closer to citizens. I just want to provide you another example. This example is also very close to me because it's an example that happened with the municipality of Padua in Italy. So in Italy, among the 3,500,000 regulation, we also have a regulation about pollution level. You cannot get into a city, a small city, if the pollution level is above a certain level. By car, of course, you cannot get by car. So the Comune di Padova, the municipality of Padua, was receiving every season 30,000 phone calls, 30,000 phone calls to understand where was, the pollution level that morning, because Padua is also in a very special, let's say, geographical location. So they developed a chatbot called Gaia with Google Cloud that easily just responded to the queries about the air pollution to the people that were asking it, that were calling. They decreased, so the need for an operator to answer by 96%, 20 hours per week, which means that these people can do other things. You will tell me, okay, Georgia, this is easy and is kind of bread and butter, but I think that you can start from bread and butter to then do even bigger things with the cloud and with, of course, Google Cloud. And this is the first part of the story, adoption, public sector. Then there is the second part of the story that I think is particularly relevant here, because I'm talking about small and medium companies, and small and medium companies in Turkey are 99% of the business and represent more than 70% of the workforce. So it's very important that they adopt AI. Well, here I have a bad news, because according to the most recent data that I think are about from 2023, only 5%, you have it here, of Turkey SME, yes, 2023, have adopted AI in 2023. And here there is a good news and a bad news. The good news is that AI is simple for small and medium companies. It doesn't cost a lot, it's plug and play. Even if you don't have a huge investment, you don't want to have a huge investment, is not expensive. Let's take the example I gave you before about the farmers. You can plug and play a system that, according to the crops or the type of plants that you have, tells you about the weather, the level of the soil. It's easy, so it's quite easy for them to adopt. The bad news is that it's a cultural barrier. So small and medium companies are not adopting it, not because they don't want to invest, but because they have not yet understood why they need to do it. And here, I believe that is a joint effort by the private sector, the public sector, the NGO, to really communicate why this is important. And of course, there is a part of the small and medium companies that already got it, that are the tech startup. For them, it's easier, but for the traditional one, is a little more difficult. We have developed a very cool tool that is called Pathfinder. Basically, you are a company. You put into this Pathfinder all your characteristics. Okay, I do this, the size of my company is that, I produce this, or I distribute, so where in the chain I am. And then Pathfinder gives you all the tools that you could use in order to enhance your productivity and therefore be more efficient. So this can be very useful, and of course we're also working with the startup ecosystem that is very vibrant here in order to help them and to bridge them even more into the innovation area. Third area, excuse me, too strong, is prepare all people in Turkey to really embrace AI. What does it mean? Again, if we think about what I said before when I showed the video, is why I believe that AI is important. Okay, it's important for a lot of reasons, but it should be really everyone interest, all citizen interest, understanding how AI is working and how they can use it to make it useful for themselves. And so we have, let's say, divided the population in three categories: the learners, the practitioner, and let's say the innovators. And we are providing tools for the learners. So imagine everyone, the general population and children. The one that are in the middle, that are the people that are working and using AI for their business, again, people that are working in small and medium companies, is fundamental to have them understanding how to use AI. And then the innovators that are the developers, the researcher, and again, how to equip them with the right tools. Because unfortunately, there is another so-and-so news that according to Turquoise report, another report, Turkey should really speed up in terms of AI research and attracting and keeping talent into the country. And these are all the activity that we do with Turkish organization to invest in skill and developments. The last one are the AI training and the AI essential course that are done also for government officials, because of course it's important that everyone, including of course the public sector and the public administration, actually are really trained and understand how to use AI. So all in all, I gave you a lot of number, but again, to me, the main message is there is a huge opportunity, important not to miss out. The three main pillars are indeed the ecosystem and the policy ecosystem, adoption by companies, and training people. But all of this needs to be developed in a responsible way. What does it mean in a responsible way? And we heard about it. It means taking, the privacy of people, security of people in utmost consideration. And Google has done it and is doing it since the beginning of let's say, the ideation of the product, since the last moment when the product is put in the market. And here you have, the 2018, I need to drink. The 2018 Google Responsible AI Principles that are the one that guide basically, as I said before, from the ideation of the product until the moment the product is put on the market. And again, His Excellency before mentioned a human-centric approach. Well, this is definitely the fundamental principle, human-centric approach, and always human oversight on AI. It's not that AI can go on alone. I mean, you need to have humans that are guiding the direction for that. And because responsibility is so important, let's say the main, I don't want to call it the mantra, but the main way Google see itself working into this ecosystem is by being bold and by being responsible. So I thought that I wanted to bring you an example of a product that to me is bold and is responsible, and is Notebook LM. Notebook LM is an AI-powered collaborator and personalized AI assistant helping us to do our best thinking. What does it mean? So first of all, as I said before, this literally changed my professional life. Changed my professional life. Is a tool through which okay, next one, excuse me. Here. So let's imagine that you need to work on a certain topic. I took the topic of Turkey culinary heritage. You have very little time to know about this topic. You upload on the left all the documents that you want, video, PDF, docs, whatever, there, and then you ask in the center about question. Okay, you can ask an easy question like, give me a summary of all this, or you can ask a much more difficult question like, okay, I need to give a speech about Turkey culinary heritage, focusing on this specific aspect, give me an idea about how to do it, and it does it. Trust me, I use it all the time. It really does it. So here the prompt was, what can we learn from Turkish cuisine about sustainability and preventing food waste? But then there is something even better, because we have a lot of things we can have. Our life is pretty good, but normally what everyone is lacking is time, or at least what I'm lacking is time. So if I need to do something fast, I ask Notebook LM to give me a podcast about the prompt, okay? And they give me the podcast. Can we play it?
Türk mutfağı deyince senin gözünde neler canlanıyor? Belki kebaplar, belki zeytinyağlılar, belki de baklava. Elimizdeki Milli Eğitim Bakanlığı'na ait ders notları ise bize çok daha derin bir hikaye anlatıyor aslında. Bugün işte bu zengin mutfak kültürünün köklerine ineceğiz biraz. Onu özel kılan detayları, belki de daha önce fark etmediğin bağlantıları senin için ortaya çıkaralım diyoruz. Hazırsan bu lezzetli yolculuğa başlayalım mı?
Kesinlikle. Yani çok katmanlı bir miras bu. Coğrafya, tarih ve sayısız kültürün etkileşimiyle bugünkü halini almış. Bu materyal de bu katmanları aralamak için harika bir başlangıç noktası sunuyor bize. Sadece yemek tarifleri değil, yani bir yaşam biçiminin
And it goes on and on.
süreceğiz.
But why did I say that it's bold and responsible? It's bold because it's a great innovation. It's responsible because you remember all the documents that you uploaded. These are not taken by Google in the cloud, are just staying into your device if you use it on your phone or on your device if it's the laptop. And so privacy of the user is 100% preserved. My suggestion, try it. It's for free, it's mobile, and it's desktop. I really tell you that it's pretty useful. And let me go to my really final remarks. When I prepared this, and I also use Notebook LM, and I thought, okay, so what is the main message that I think I want to deliver here is, again, there is a big opportunity that should not be missed out. And I thought about the 3E, so embrace AI, experiment with AI, and empower AI. And Google is super committed, very much committed to be a partner of of the Turkey institutions. And when I said about institution, I talk about the government, but I talk about the NGO, and I talk about universities, and I talk, of course, about private sectors to make this happen. Embrace AI, experiment AI, and empower AI. However, this is not something that can be done by one operator, by the private sector, a company alone, or by the government alone. It really requires everyone to work together, and that's why I think that the work that you are doing here of bringing, different parts of the ecosystem together is so important, because the digital divide should not become an AI divide. And to make this work, we should really work all together. And with that, I hope that you enjoyed it, that you will use also Notebook. And I really would like to thank you for listening and for the future conversation. Thanks a lot.
Much, Georgie Albantino. We have a little gift for you. Yes. Bir küçük hediyemiz olacak Sayın Georgie Albantino'ya. Sayın Başkanımızı yeniden alkışlarınızla efendim sahneye davet ediyorum. Evet efendim, Google'a dair pek çok detayı da bugün öğrenmiş olduk. Sayın Georgia Albantino sayesinde Türkiye'de üretken yapay zekaya katkısının 10 yılda %5 olacağını ve en büyük riskin